Professor Gerald Robotnik was a brilliant man and the lead scientist to the Guardians Unit of Nations, otherwise known as GUN. The man was given an impossible task: to create an immortal ultimate life form for their organization. GUN's officials believed that he would go along with it. Gerald had been making them weapons for years after all. But Gerald's reasons for helping them was far more selfless than it would first seem. He didn't care about the money or his reputation. He wanted to save his granddaughter Maria. Maria was dying of a deadly disease. Science currently could not find a cure, but Gerald believed if he could create a being that couldn't be infected by any disease and could live forever, he could potentially reverse engineer that to make a cure for her. So, seeing this as the perfect opportunity to have a nearly unlimited amount of resources, Gerald agreed to make their weapon. His first attempt, the Bio-Lizard, was seen as a failure to GUN. Its scales may have been impenetrable, but its large size made it nearly impossible to move. On top of that, the monster often formed cancerous spores on its back, which would make easy weak spots. And worst of all for Gerald, the DNA simply couldn't work with human tissue. He was back at square one. Gerald began to research into the Chaos Emeralds, believing that they could help him create the ultimate life form. His first stop was Angel Island, a strange floating landmass that appeared on Earth every few months. It also was allegedly once home to alien creatures. To many, these were simply legends, but to Gerald, it was scientific fact. He knew that a group known as the Knuckles clan once called this island home. As the good professor was looking through the ancient writings of these echidnas, he came across a mural depicting a large creature fighting a golden alien, harnessing the power of the Chaos Emeralds. Gerald was inspired by this image and would loosely base his ultimate life form on this very hedgehog. After a few months, Gerald Robotnik completed his research on Angel Island and headed back to his lab on the Ark, a space colony orbiting around the planet Earth. He had learned a lot from Angel Island and was ready to apply it to his project. All he needed was a DNA sample to base it upon. But Gerald wasn't simply content on just waiting for a donor to come to him. He didn't know how long Maria had left, so Gerald ventured off into the unknown galaxy, searching for a potential and willing blood donor. As Gerald left Earth's atmosphere, a black comet rocketed by him, but Gerald took no note of it. He was too determined to find a cure for Maria, whatever it took. Eventually, Professor Gerald came across a planet covered in vegetation, but teeming with technology. The inhabitants of this planet seemed to have a similarity to dinosaurs, but were completely made of plant matter. Gerald became close friends with one of them. Its name was Lucas, and he was more than happy to help Gerald with his project, in hope that perhaps this could bring peace to the galaxy. So together, Gerald and Lucas returned to the planet Earth. Together, combining their technology and research, they created the ultimate life form, Shadow, the Seedrian. Following Lucas's return to his home planet, GUN learned of what Gerald had done. Not only did GUN not approve of Gerald making first contact with aliens, opening them up to any invasion coming forward, they feared what he had created. Not only was Shadow immortal, indestructible, and had a series of chaos abilities, but he had a number of potentially dangerous powers due to his Seedrian DNA that not even Gerald knew the extent of. So GUN sent a death squad up to the Ark to arrest or kill anyone that knew of Shadow's existence and to lock away the ultimate life form. Several scientists, including Gerald Robotnik himself, was arrested, but Maria was killed as she tried to save Shadow. Shadow was brought back to GUN's base on Prison Island, and left on suspended animation, intended never to be released. Sadly for GUN, Shadow would be released 50 years later by Dr. Ivo Robotnik, grandson of Gerald Robotnik, better known as Dr. Eggman. Seemingly in appreciation for his freedom, Shadow pledged his allegiance to Eggman, but truly, he was trying to carry out a revenge plot formed by Professor Gerald to avenge the death of Maria. Shadow told Eggman to meet him on the Space Colony Ark with a Chaos Emerald. After giving Eggman the order, Shadow left the base to find his own Chaos Emerald. As the leafy green alien ran across the rooftops, he heard of a Chaos Emerald being locked away in a high-security vault. As evening loomed over Station Square, Shadow broke into the vault and stole the Chaos Emerald. Like taking candy from a baby, which is fine by me. Shadow quickly made his escape, running through the Radical Highway and grinding across the bridges. Station Square police forces tried to catch up with him, but it was no use. Shadow was simply too fast and too powerful. Based on his spiky figure, a lot of people thought this was Sonic, but at a second glance, they quickly realized that this was a new threat. Perhaps if Shadow had a darker fur tone that could easily be mistaken for a dark blue during the low visibility of the midnight hour, or a figure more closely attuned to Supersonic, the media could be forgiven for believing that this was the blue hero, but it was clear to anyone that this was not Sonic the Hedgehog. I mean, bright green fur, leafy exterior, horns, yeah. No one's believing this is Sonic. During his escape, Shadow was encountered by a gigantic GUN robot called the Bigfoot. Although the machine put up a good fight, Shadow made quick work of it, destroying it with a series of homing attacks. Standing upon the newly destroyed machine, Shadow stared at the Chaos Emerald in his palm. As he stared into its power, he felt a memory, one that had faded over the years of isolation. It was during Maria's final moments. In the few glances he got, he saw Maria begging him to do something about the people of Earth. "Maria, I don't remember what I promised you, but for the people of this planet, I promise you revenge. And it'll all start with this, a jewel containing the ultimate power." Suddenly, Shadow heard a loud booming noise in the distance, as if something was running towards him. It was Sonic the Hedgehog. All the chaos had gotten his attention. "Hey, what do you think you're doing with that emerald?" Shadow simply turned, staring at the blue hedgehog. "Say something, you green monster!" Shadow quickly raised his emerald, declaring, "Chaos Control!" In an instant, the Seedrian was gone. Sonic looked around before spotting Shadow on top of a rooftop. "My name is Shadow. I am the world's ultimate life form. There's no time to play games. Farewell." Sonic quickly took off, trying to catch the green hedgehog, even scaling the building, but just before he could make contact, Shadow disappeared once again. Shadow transported onto the Ark. Not long after, Eggman would appear on the Ark as well, after failing to capture the Master Emerald. Shadow introduced the Doctor to the Eclipse Cannon, a weapon designed by Gerald Robotnik decades ago that harnessed the power of the Chaos Emeralds. Shadow explained that when all 7 Chaos Emeralds were added to the machine, they would have the power to destroy a planet, and all the world's governments would be at their mercy. Eggman could finally rule the planet. All they needed were the other 5 remaining emeralds. Unfortunately, they had no idea where the emeralds were. That was when a certain Batgirl arrived. As Rouge the Bat descended, she explained that she was a master jewel thief and could easily find the Chaos Emeralds. She even unveiled a 3rd Chaos Emerald just to prove her point. She offered to help Shadow and Dr. Eggman in their plan in exchange for the Chaos Emeralds once everything was finished. They all agreed. The trio headed towards Prison Island, the place where Rouge said that 3 Chaos Emeralds were being held. Eggman explained the plan. He would distract the military with his Eggmobile, Rouge would steal the emeralds, and Shadow would plant a series of explosives across the island so that GUN couldn't follow them. The terrible trio spread out, each executing their part of the plan. Since in this timeline Sonic wasn't arrested, Amy and Tails would have no reason to be on Prison Island, so Eggman wasn't interrupted, but there still was a large amount of explosives getting Sonic's attention from across the bay. After a quick dash across the water, Sonic appeared and was ready to fight Eggman. Despite Eggman's best efforts, as always, Sonic beat him relatively easily. But Eggman purposely let it slip that there was a series of explosives across the island. This was to distract Sonic, and even if he could get to all the bombs in time, Eggman would be long gone before Sonic got back. Meanwhile, Rouge had broken into the main vault and had stolen the 3 Chaos Emeralds kept there. But as she attempted to make her escape, the security system activated, locking her inside the vault with no way out. With no way out, Rouge used her communicator to contact Shadow and let him know of the predicament. Although at first Shadow considered leaving her, when he suddenly had another flash of memory. Shadow began to subconsciously compare Rouge dying alone in a fiery inferno on Prison Island to what happened to Maria all those years ago. But he convinced himself that he would only save her to rescue the Chaos Emeralds. As the leafy hedgehog raced through the green forests of Prison Island, he suddenly saw a blue blur race by him. The 2 speedsters grounded to a halt. "Hey, is that blue hedgehog again of all places?" "Ha! Found you, monster." "Monster? These humans are the monsters. They care little for life. They only crave destruction. One by one, they'll all fall before me. Just like you, hedgehog. I'll make you eat those words." The confrontation soon turned into a fistfight, which turned into a series of homing attacks as each hedgehog tried to knock the other back. To Shadow's surprise, the blue hedgehog was able to match him move for move, so Shadow decided to tap into his chaos powers. As his arm began to glow a menacing orange, Shadow declared, "Chaos Thorn!" 3 energy-based tendrils erupted from Shadow's arm. Each of them could have easily skewered Sonic. Luckily for the blue hedgehog, he barely dodged them. Using his speed, Sonic quickly ran up, clocking Shadow right across the face. Although this hurt Shadow greatly, he smirked. "Huh, perhaps you're not as pathetic as I thought." Suddenly, the forest around them began to shudder. "Now, witness the might of my power!" Shadow's arms began to illuminate with chaos energy as his rocket boots allowed him to ascend into the air. Sonic was about to chase him when suddenly he realized he couldn't move his feet. Sonic looked down at his sneakers. He saw the grass had begun to wrap around them, effectively grounding him. Suddenly, a vine whipped out from the forest, grabbing Sonic's left arm, and another one grabbing his right. Sonic didn't understand what was going on, but knew Shadow had to be behind this. Shadow was using his chaos powers in sync with his Seedrian DNA to manipulate the plant life around him. Shadow grabbed one of the vines, pulling Sonic slowly towards him, preparing Chaos Thorn to stab Sonic, putting him down once and for all. Sayonara. But before Shadow could deliver the finishing blow, he got a transmission on his comm unit. "Shadow, what are you doing? The island's about to blow up! Get out of there!" Shadow, remembering that Rouge and the Chaos Emeralds were still locked in the vault, quickly abandoned the fight. He manipulated the force around him to make the journey as short as possible. Rouge was still there in the vault, waiting for the inevitable. She believed that Eggman and Shadow had left her for dead, when suddenly the door came crashing down. Shadow was there. Shadow raced to the other side of the room, and as he could hear the explosions erupting outside, he tapped into the energy of the 3 Chaos Emeralds present and teleported them, himself, and Rouge to safety. aboard the Ark.